Holly, and I'm from Pixel. And today we just want to talk to you about the foundations of social media, some do's and don'ts for both Facebook and Instagram, since they're the heavy hitters for most local marketing online. So we wanted to do that, and then we wanted to open it up to you guys to ask any questions or discuss anything that you would like to have our expert opinions about. So I think we wanted to get started just talking about why social media is so important today. It is no longer 2005, and traditional advertising doesn't work as well. I'm not saying it's not great for top-of-mind marketing, but users now expect to be engaged and to have a relationship with brands. People are now communicating with Sprite and Pepsi as if they're friends. They want instant response, they want customer service online, and they want to have some sort of relationship with the brands that they're working with. So your goal in social media is to try to create brand awareness, but also create that amount of connectivity so that you can relate to your customers better.
Just other things about the way that advertising has advanced over the past couple years to decades is that the advantage that you have with using social media is the data that you can collect. If you're doing a print advertisement or like a commercial radio advertisement, it's hard to collect the data to see who saw it, when did they see it, how many people took advantage of this, that sort of thing. With social media, you get a lot of data, and then you can use that to make future decisions. So that's a huge advantage of using social media.
I should also back up and just say we manage a lot of social media accounts, but we also consult in helping businesses use their accounts themselves. And we think that there's huge value in that. So content marketing is one thing, and if you have time to create content, that's great. Or you can work with a company like us to help you develop content. But being engaged and working directly with your own social media is the best, I think, the best strategy. So we do offer that. And so we have a couple, we have one client that we're able to kind of speak about their information here to you guys today. But it's someone that we've consulted with that has used this strategy to move forward and have great success online. Yeah. Sorry, we're a little short on the board.
Okay, so just to create a little bit of foundation, if you're thinking about implementing a new plan, or you're just getting started, or you want to revise, just where to start. So the very first thing that you want to do is take a look at the people that you are trying to reach and define your audience. So coming up with a list of some common traits that those people have is how you can do that. So what we call that is a persona. So it's basically an example of a person that would benefit from your service, your products, your whatever your business is. So those sorts of things are their age, their location, their occupation. Where else do they shop? What else are they interested in? If you can guess their income level, that sort of thing. So you want to create a list of all the attributes about those people that you're trying to reach, and that is your persona.
It sounds a little silly, but it's really helpful to actually make a make-up person that you can consider the person that you're marketing to online. And there's tools online. I think there's one, buildmypersona.com by HubSpot, that allows you fill in the blanks of what you think your persona is about, and then it'll pop out this little person that you can use as your avatar for who you're marketing to. And it's something to do in all marketing, but I think it's especially helpful in cases with social media in determining who you're reaching out to.
When you do that, then when you make further decisions down the road, so when we develop websites, we create personas for different user groups, and so as we go through the process of making any choices, we're like, well, would Bob appreciate that? Or, you know, it's helpful to have that kind of list of data just to make sure that what you're doing is working. So after that, once you have your Bob or Sally or whoever you create, you want to look into further who they are. So what other social medias do they use? You know, if they're on Facebook, are they also using Pinterest, or are they also using Twitter? What other kinds of pages do they follow? So if you are in the business of making candles, do they like Yankee? Do they follow Yankee? Do they follow like a local handmade candle shop? Like where are their interests?
So they also love crocheting.
Right.
You get to be a little bit of, I like to call it friendly stalking. You just go on and figure out exactly what those users are engaging with online. What are they liking? What are they sharing? What are they commenting on? Because you can make those connections in your marketing as well.
So then after you have all those pieces of information kind of developed and gathered, what you can start to do is create a list or a chart or however you want to formulate your information, but you want to start developing a content bank. So your content bank are things that you can pull from that you're going to provide on social media. So the way that those items can be categorized, there's 3 different ways that the categories that need to be. So they can be providing value, they can be personifying you, so kind of giving an emotional response to your brand, and then actually the smallest amount of your content should actually be pushing to sell your product or your service. Because like we mentioned before, we're trying to create a relationship. So you want more of somebody looking at your brand or looking at your timeline on your Facebook page and seeing that you are providing value, that they can connect with you because you're giving them fun things to read or helpful information. And then from there, because they have that foundation with you, if you do put a post out there about, a sale or what have you, they're going to be much more likely to act on that. So we'll just go down these in a little bit more detail. So to provide value, one of the larger chunks of your information. This sort of stuff can be answering common questions that your customers may have, showing newest trends in your industry. So if you are just keeping up on your industry, if you find an article, you can either write your own information, write your own articles, or if there's a larger company that you can share their information as well. That's also completely acceptable. You can provide how-tos. So if you have an art store, if you're an artist or you teach painting classes, you can make a short little video about how to clean your paintbrushes. Stuff that would be helpful for them to know, but it's not, giving away the farm.
Yeah, you don't have to write huge articles to be able to post to social media, but any types of tips and tricks and useful information that your market, your Bob or Sally, is going to find useful, you can write those and schedule them to go out. This is the type of content that providing value content that you can schedule ahead of time, write ahead of time and schedule to go out on social media. And as long as you just need to monitor it and make sure that people are finding it engaging and are willing to share it. But the more value you're providing, the more that they're going to trust you. So that's a really, really important step. It does take a little bit of time, but I would recommend sitting down maybe once a week and writing out a couple really good ideas and then scheduling those for the week.
So the second largest chunk that we talked about was personifying your brand. So this is the part, this is where you kind of make that friendship happen, that aspect about your business that's super relatable, that they can talk to large brands or small businesses like their your best friend. And the way to do that is just be real and show them if you're having a business meeting and you guys went to Ana Lucia, take a picture of you while you're at lunch and share that and talk about why you guys do that and why it's important to have those moments as a business. Share your team, and that's super important especially for those people that your customers are going to be talking to on a regular basis, to see their face, learn a little bit about them, so when they engage with them, when they come in your door, they feel like they already know that person, which is helpful. And you can also do things just like sharing your favorite resources. So if your company uses a certain email provider or just a resource, if it's like a point of sale system or something that you feel like other people would benefit from, you really like it, you know, hey, we use this in our business and this is why we love it, and you might be able to use it as well. Those sorts of things just making you seem real, like you can have a conversation with your people that are following you. And lastly, it's okay to have fun and share a meme or a funny picture or a joke or a comment once in a while if it's appropriate and if it's related in some way that you can tie it together too.
Yeah.
And it's great to have those moments.
The awesome thing about social media is that users expect you to be casual and to have fun with it too. So yeah, don't be afraid to not use completely professional lingo. You know, don't go crazy with your slang, but you can keep things very casual and create that connection in that way.
So that last smaller chunk that we talked about is actually doing promotions of the selling of your service or products or what have you. So those sorts of things are, you know, your sales. If you have new services or new products coming out, to give teasers for those, sharing the benefits of your goods. So if you have a story about somebody who used your product and had a really great experience with that, those sorts of things. And that's where your people are going to take action and engage with you from a sales standpoint.
If you take the time to provide value and also create brand awareness and create that personal connection, when you go to sell to someone online by showing, you know, your latest menu item or the latest event that you're going to have, it's almost like you're doing them a favor. You're not just directly selling to them and pushing an ad in their face, but you're like, hey, we thought since you like following us that you might be one of the first people to know about this 20% off sale that we have. So they are much more prone to be engaged by that content because you're not constantly pushing information at them.
So with all that being said, you definitely want to monitor how people are engaging with you. So you're going to be checking your comments, you're going to be monitoring who's liking you and following up, those sorts of things. And you can be just looking for opportunities for things that people might want to share or ways that you want to share other people's information, and just looking for ways of engaging the community as a whole.
One of the coolest things about social media that I don't think that most people use correctly is not posting, but actually going in and listening. Twitter is an awesome, awesome tool. I don't like posting to Twitter, and I don't typically look at my newsfeed on Twitter, but it's an awesome search tool. So if there's something in our industry that's changing and I go onto Twitter and I search for that, I'm going to get instant information about what users think about that information. So in that regard, it's super, super helpful. If I was interested in a particular industry and I knew that there was a hashtag related to that, and I searched through that hashtag, I can get curated content that's specific to exactly what I want, so I can see opinions from users that might provide valuable market information for me. So make sure that you're taking the time to go in and search and see what people are posting, rather than just constantly yelling at people without providing that engagement. When you're doing that, it's also really helpful to jump into the conversation. If you have something else to add, don't feel afraid just because you know the conversation's going on between two other people that you might not be able to hop in and provide input. So definitely make sure to use social media in that regard as well. Definitely search. And then the last stage, and I get some grumbles about this sometimes, is people tend to think that social media is this free platform where you can organically grow your followers, and you're never going to have to pay for it. You just have to provide content. But as this technology is maturing and growing, it is becoming harder and harder to reach your fans. Right now on Facebook, if you have a couple thousand followers, only 2 to 6% of those people are actually seeing your posts. And that's because Facebook is going to a pay-to-play mode. So we recommend experimenting with boosting your Facebook posts or posts on even Instagram. Those all use the same platform. It's very, very cost effective, and you can highly target specific areas so you can grow your followers, grow your likes very, very quickly and effectively. We have a lot of clients that use ads, and it's super helpful because you can nail it down to, if it's someone in the lumber industry, you can get in front of people that are just in that industry, that are just in a specific age range or a specific region. So it's super targeted and very cost effective. We recommend that you don't boost right away, and you make sure that your content, that you feel comfortable with the types of content that you're creating. And once you see a post that people are starting to like and comment on, and you think that it's successful, then go in and boost it. And you can do a small boost. You know, $10 is a completely fine starting point for boosting posts, but that's going to get you in front of more people and grow that follower base that you have, and then you have a chance to reach out to more people. So with that said, we help Meadowbrook boards with their social media, and they're a business outside of Carlisle, but just right outside in the Plainfield area, and they create crafted cords. So they do retail, wholesale, and online sales. About 2 years ago, they had about 3,000 followers. And by using this method, because we consult with them, we help them in working with all of their social media accounts, in the past couple of years, we've gotten them over to 14,000 likes, which is more than most businesses in this area by quite a lot. And I wanted to show you the information here because they gave me permission to share this with you to just show what a boost can do. Now you'll see here that they've spent $500 each boost, which is much larger than they would typically spend, but this is the end of December, so they were getting the last minute Christmas sales. But you can see that with a $500 boost, which, you know, I've seen newspaper ads that are about that much, they reached 125,000 highly targeted people, and they had over 7,000 likes and 5,000 other interactions with that post. So those are some pretty crazy numbers that they wouldn't be able to get without posting. If you can see the organic post there, the one right below it is 4,000. They reached 4,000 of their 14,000 fans with an organic post. So it can be really effective. And I know that those numbers seem really large and you don't have to start there at all, but it definitely makes a difference. And they see that. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we've done for them, just to give you an idea of how it can help you. So Meadowbrook, I'm trying to think. We started working with them in 2013 in regards to their social media. At that time, they were paying $1,600 a month for a social media company to do all of their posts and to write blog posts for them. And they were also still doing all of their traditional advertising for their open house events. So that means all of the magazines and newspapers, radio advertisements, postcards that were sent out for all of their open house events. Now these open house events in those past couple of years before we talked to them started dwindling. People weren't responding, they weren't coming as often. So they almost stopped doing their seasonal open house events, which are a huge deal to this company. So we sat down with them and we evaluated their social media plan, and we found that all they were doing was posting flyers for all of their events and sale information, as well as sometimes they would post a blog article that they wrote about like how to make a doily. So that's it. They didn't provide any information about who they were as a company. Their blog posts shared nothing about any of their processes, and they're a unique, interesting company that people can really stand behind and really love. So we sat down and developed a plan where they would manage their social media themselves rather than with this other company. And they would share blog posts about their processes and share ideas on what kinds of products they are creating and things of that nature. And through doing that, their follower base has grown drastically, and now they have the ability to go in and market to those people. They saved over $100,000 in advertising sales just this past year from switching everything to Facebook. Since they've been doing that, and they started that last year, every one of their open houses has sold out within days. And this last open house sold out in less than a day, just from doing a Facebook post and a boost. They've also, their sales were, I wouldn't say dwindling, but they were having a harder and harder time reaching those sales goals in the last couple of years. Since we've been working with them on their social media, they have surpassed all of their sales goals. So for their retail store that they have in Plainfield, for online, and in their wholesale. So we're not going to say that that was us because they put in all the work. They just followed this method of making sure that they're providing good content to people and gaining their trust. And now whenever they post an ad, people are really excited about it. So now we'll just talk really quickly about Facebook and Instagram, and then you guys can maybe ask us questions and hopefully we can answer them for you. So we want to talk briefly about Facebook just because it's the biggest platform. And it's the most effective for local selling and local brand awareness. It is the largest and most active network, as I'm sure you're all aware of, and it has the broadest range of user base. So from young and old. Now, of course, younger millennials, they try to stay away from Facebook because their parents are on it, but that's why you have Instagram. So Facebook is definitely still a tool to invest some time into. I just wanted to touch really quickly on Facebook events because I see a lot of people in town using them incorrectly, or what we feel is incorrectly. And right here we have Molly Pitcher's bottle release, which is great. I'm not saying that they did this incorrectly at all, but just to show you what a Facebook event looks like. I've noticed that a lot of people on Facebook now have been overwhelmed by the amount of events that they are being invited to. So I don't know if you go to your Facebook feeds and you see that you have 10 or 12 events that you're invited to. Do you look at them anymore? No. So though the events are really great to house all the information, to gauge interest, and for friends to see who's invited to the event, it's not the most effective way to market your event. The best way to do it, and Molly Pitcher did this on this post, was make the event and then promote it through an additional post on your Facebook page with imagery. So they're not boosting this event here, but they're providing that information within a post and making it more personal in that regard. And that gets you past that whole, I have 16 events in my newsfeed and I'm sick of seeing them. Another thing to focus on here is I have an example of a lifestyle and home improvement blog, just to show what an excellent Facebook post looks like. You see it says, it's snowing out and I'm inside staring all the beauty face of the latest post we shared, full of inspiration for a little beach house that could. Then it has a link and some emoticons and a really, really nice photo. And if you notice here, this does not have, if you use Facebook, you see sometimes you can link right to a website and then it'll pick a preview. They didn't do that. They listed the URL, and that keeps it much cleaner, and it allows people to digest the picture like they would if it were Instagram. So it looks more polished and more friendly and less markety. They also, if you notice, don't come out just stating, check out our latest blog post. They went into it talking about how excited they are to share the information and what inspired them, so that people are like, oh, I really want to click on this and see what beautiful images I might be able to find. If you want to interject, I like to talk a lot, so sorry. So make sure you're using a really casual and friendly voice, but also avoid being clickbaity. I think that this is very persuasive in making you want to click, because it's saying, I have all these great inspirational shots in this blog post and you're going to want to see them, but it's not saying, you won't believe what 5 things we're going to do to our bathroom in June. So you definitely want to avoid that, because I know that they're developing algorithms to kind of knock that stuff down, and that's a great way for people to unfollow you. And then last, I wanted to show a good example of boosting a post. Now this is an advertisement, and like I said, Meadowbrook only does, 4 of these a year. Most of their content is regular, valuable, and personal content. So this is for their Cyber Monday sale. And you can see that it's a small amount of text, and it's not obtrusive. It's very, very simple, and it's just showing, okay, there's 25% off as a Cyber Monday sale, and the rest is in the content with a link. You want to use text sparingly on all social media posts. Keep the text down to a very minimum, and make sure that it looks like it's part of your news feed seamlessly. So even in this, I don't like having the text on it, but since we only do this once a year, it's completely fine, and this is just a good example of how you can do text, but I would still even eliminate that and keep it on the content, typically. And So those are our brief tips on Facebook, and I'll just talk about Instagram really quick. Instagram is now considered the single most important social network of today. The top brands, so Nike and other companies like that, have 58 times more engagement than they do on Facebook. With that though, Instagram is a little bit more difficult to gain a following and to have quality posts. And that's because there's no ability to share links like in Facebook, so you have less of a chance to have call to actions, and it relies heavily on imagery. Facebook should have imagery too, but Instagram is all about the imagery. And so you have to take the effort to make interesting photos that people might want to look at. It is the best way to establish your visual brand and gain trust in customers. You're not allowed to have links in your posts to go to off-site, but that's one of the values of Instagram and why people really like it, because people are sharing more introspective parts of their jobs or their products that people can relate to without being just constantly seeing ads. Users are also very active on Instagram, more so than I would say even Facebook at this point. And you also have the ability, and I think a much better ability, to use hashtags on Instagram, which is a huge selling point. So the best practice of Instagram is to always focus on imagery and a story. So it's not the most valuable to, if you were selling this Cadbury candy here, to sit it down on a desk and take a picture of it and say, I have 50 of these, come buy them. But showing the lifestyle that you can have if you're eating this candy in maybe a bubble bath and you're enjoying yourself and treating yourself to candy. So that could be a really nice Instagram post. So it's more about telling the story and sharing a lifestyle. You can also do themes, which I think are really cool. So I'm trying to think of a really good example on the spot. There's an architect that uses themes, and I think it's every Wednesday he posts mid-century modern. So people expect that on their news or on their Instagram feeds, they're going to see really awesome mid-century modern architecture from this person. So if you in your industry can find a niche that you can go and focus your Instagram into a theme, that is super, super valuable. The other thing to do is just keep it the same mood. No, don't go crazy with filters, but use about the same sorts of filters each time so that everything looks consistent across the board. And you'll see here, this is from the Stash in Harrisburg, the pictures there, and how they all look pretty uniform. And they do show product, but it's not a product it's a product in its environment in their store and how well it's displayed, and it makes you want to go, it looks inviting, and that's really nice. Okay, so here's a couple really good Instagram posts. This is Reebok, and you'll see here that they say, we don't dodge obstacles, we race up and over them. So the thing that I think that this best displays is that they're selling a product, but they're not being overly obvious about it. It's people using their product in a lifestyle, doing a Spartan race, which is really cool. They're using the hashtags Spartan Up and Spartan Race, as well as some others. And they're just providing that whole, I think this emulates the whole lifestyle approach.
I think it's just about evoking the mood and kind of an emotional reaction for somebody, and in this particular emoji, somebody seeing that thinking, oh wow, like that could be you, or that was me, and creating that
should be me.
That should be me. Creating that response.
Here we have the Whistle Stop Bookshop, which is one of my favorite Instagram accounts to follow. If you don't follow, you should. And I just wanted to show this because I think it's interesting that she's showing product, or he, I don't know.
Jeff.
Jeff, okay. I know the cat's name is Milan because I follow the Instagram feed, but the shot was creatively done in such a way that you're seeing cats, which are huge on the internet to begin with, and I know not everyone can have a cat at their office. I wish they could, but it's all done very creatively, and of course this is about Halloween and the books that he has in his shop for Halloween, but it's done in a very creative way. It's not an obvious sell. You'll also see that there's dots and then information's pushed down. that is a way to create line breaks so that you can break up your hashtags. Hashtags are really important on Instagram. So if you can create that separation from your content in those hashtags, you have the ability to use more hashtags. We don't recommend going crazy. You have a max of 30 that you're able to use. I would say stick to 10 or less. But sometimes there might be a necessity for 30 hashtags. I've never seen it, but maybe. But yes, you can create, hashtags are great to use, and if you create those line breaks there, you can use more hashtags and still have your content show up really well. And then a little bit about hashtags. This is, again, another stash photo. You'll see that they have vintage style, and then Harrisburg vintage, and then just plain vintage. Using a macro and a micro hashtag, you're allowing yourself to get to a broader audience of vintage, and then also more segmented audiences of Harrisburg vintage or vintage style. And these hashtags are something that you can research, and you should, to figure out which ones are going to be best working for you. And then make sure that you're not always using just the most broadest of terms. If you have a bookshop, don't just use books, but mystery books would be a much better option, and then use both of them. So make sure that you're doing
that. So just in summary, then, you know, if you have a piece of content, you made your content right, and now you're looking over your list and you're like, okay, well, which avenue do I choose if you have a Facebook and Instagram account? We've boiled it down to this basic structure, just sort of some rules of thumb. If you're trying to create a call to action, so if you're promoting an event or you want somebody to learn more about XYZ or that sort of thing, you're having somebody do something because of the information you're providing. Facebook is probably the better option for that. If you're sharing an article or a video, or you want to do like a live stream, if you're, I don't know, doing cooking, you're in your kitchen and you're cooking, you want to do a live stream, that is for Facebook. If you have a moment in your day where you're feeling artistic and you want to create that kind of emotional response between you and your target audience, Instagram is a great time and place for that. And just if you have a story to share, so if you're a nail salon and you have a bridal party coming in and you just painted their nails and you get a really cute picture of all their nails together and you tell their little story about, you know, so-and-so's getting married on Saturday, you make that connection through emotion, you share that story. That's a great option for Instagram. So those are just some very narrow and broad rules of thumb for how and where to place your content.
One thing I forgot to mention is Facebook does better if the amount of text that you have is a shorter amount of text or really, really long. Instagram, you can get away with having a really nice paragraph or two written within it, and that is completely fine. You do not have to be brief. I think it's the combination of having really nice imagery for people to look at and then wanting to click more to see like an engaging story. They're willing to read more of that, especially if you break out the hashtags. So if you have a little bit more to say and you want to paint a prettier picture, Instagram is the way. I think that is all we got for you. Hope that we didn't bore you too much. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts?
I have some,
Okay.
but it might be better if I came around.
Sure.
Have you met Joy before?
No.
Okay. She owns the Thai restaurant across the street, and I helped with her Instagram.
Okay.
And I saw that you had the periods to separate. I just wanted to show you something. This is her account,
Okay.
and like for example, here's one. Okay, so
It's okay.
what I would typically do though is I would put maybe 2 or 3 hashtags in the initial post, and then I would just copy and paste like maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 other hashtags, and then put them as an initial comment.
That's completely acceptable. That's a great way to do it if you don't want to do the dots.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
that's
you know-
an okay way to do that. Yeah.
Okay, and as far as Facebook, you mentioned about it doesn't like medium range, just really short or really long. Why is that? Do you think?
I'm not really sure. That's just what the data shows, and in our research, and then the research that other people do. That's what they say, that there's less engagement with posts that are 4 or 5 sentences, as opposed to if you see a post that has 3 paragraphs, it turns into more of a note look. People are highly engaged with those, or just a couple quick sentences.
And why do you say don't use the full 30 hashtags on Instagram?
I think it can be overwhelming to users.
Okay.
And it can look like you are stuffing your information with hashtags rather than being authentic. And
Okay, that's why I try to put it as the first comment rather than the initial post. Okay. And Facebook, as far as the feed goes, I know it's more pay to play, but why am I getting sometimes I'll get a post from 15 minutes ago and then a post from 4 hours ago under that, and then a post from 20 minutes ago. Have you experienced that?
That is their algorithm, and I think that all plays into how much a post is being engaged with.
I want to ask
So
about
if it is
we
considered more
allow
engaging,
to
it's
do
going to show up
asking
more at the
for
top of your
people
newsfeed rather than in
we
the
do we want to
chronological
do
order.
we want to
And
do
then
this
that all
to
gets reshuffled.
ask
So
people
there's nothing that we can
they-
really do
they
to
interesting
affect that, because
to-
it's
to-
all in their algorithm and what they
You
think
know
you
what
are
I mean?
going to want to see. Because that's Facebook's goal, is to provide
because
you just what
we
you
would
want.
like to ask
It's
on the
typically
Facebook.
business
People look at
pages
Facebook.
showing up, and
If
then
they
the
say
personal
yes,
pages are usually
interesting,
doing that.
interesting, I don't know how to do that.
Anyone else want to?
Maybe those people paid.
No,
Well, I
I
would
can
say
tell.
sponsor.
Well, I know you can
is
switch
a-
it from top stories to most recent, and when you switch it to most recent, it puts it in chronological order.
Okay.
But when it's top stories, it does that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I have that by default, but I don't see a large amount. I do have some people pinned to the top. My mom, I like to see what she posts, so she was the top.
I see the Facebook, some business restaurant, they try to do the enter coupon, where we do a special offer, and they have to punch the coupon. I don't know how to create or do some stuff like that. I don't
With
know.
their acts and things?
I don't know. That's why I asked you. Because the Facebook asking about a special offer, and but in the bottom, I said, okay, if you check in the Facebook, you get free stuff. You know what I mean? But they asking for the coupon or code number.
Oh, I know what she's
I don't know what.
when you type something in, like for $17.94, if I say Monday steak night, enjoy 20% off,
Yes.
it gives you an option to create an online coupon.
Yes.
I never do it. You can just say no and then just post whatever your special is. You don't have to do the coupon. If you want to do it, I don't know how to do it, but
I want to know.
Oh, I don't know how to do it,
I know
but
you talk about. I try to do that.
anytime you post something
But-
on a business page that I found, and it's some sort of percentage offer, money offer, whatever, it picks up on that, and it gives you an automatic option to create a coupon online.
Yeah, I've never actually used the coupon codes because I typically send people to the website so that they have more opportunities to buy on the actual website. But it would be something interesting for you to try to do and see how it works out for your business. Do you
If
have any thoughts?
I don't know the coupon, they run automatically. I don't know. That's why I asked.
Well, Facebook's pretty smart about those types of things, so it should just walk you through the process. Yeah, I don't know exactly how. Do you know? Yeah. Do you know how to actually create one?
I think, if I remember correctly, it's
Pretty
on the
much you
business
just
page,
fill
like,
out the
from
stuff.
yeah. It should just kind of walk you through the steps.
we have to looking for how to create on the like a Facebook.
Well, what they're saying is if you put in like $2 off an appetizer or something like that, it'll automatically say, "Do you want to create a coupon for this?" And if
I
you click
understand
yes,
that. Mhm.
then it will take you through the steps. If you click no, then it will go away.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I will try. Like a coupon, you know what I mean? How did people then they get the coupon from the Facebook? How? If I create a coupon, how they do that? How they get it? I don't
Is it a
know.
paper coupon then, or is it something that's on your phone that you come in and you show, like the app or
It
the
should just be on your
coupons?
phone.
Okay. I have a question about boosting your post. Does it, when you boost a post, does it only boost to the people that are already following you, or people that maybe have just liked your page?
You have the option of choosing to send it to people that follow you and don't follow you, or people that don't follow you at all. You have many options in which people you want to grab. I would recommend boosting to do a little bit of both, unless your whole goal in that boost is to gain more followers. Then of course you wouldn't send it to the people on your list. But those people aren't seeing a lot of your posts anyway, because again, maybe 6% of your followers are actually seeing the posts.
No, yeah.
Unless it's engaging content that people are liking and sharing right off the bat, then it's more prone to be seen by more people.
And what about, oh, sorry.
Or no, you go first.
What about like when you use hashtags for your business? Do you use a hashtag? Do you put them, do people follow hashtags? And that's why you list all the hashtags?
That's the value of it, because people are going to be interested in exploring more. For instance, for the vintage, people will search through those hashtags. They're like tags. They're, a category. So they'll go through those categories to find more interesting people to follow or to find out more about that particular topic. So they are really valuable to use. In
Okay.
that regard.
So I have on my personal Instagram page, if I made a scarf from yarn that I bought at Harmony Society. So I did a hashtag Harmony Society, whatever. But then I asked, Amber, did you see my post? And she said no. And then you have to do the @ so then it shows up under her. You have to tag her in that way so she can see it. But I don't know. I guess I'm just confused on how to. I guess that's how you connect to the business. Like if I use a product from a business, how do I promote that as a consumer?
How do you link that?
Yeah, how do I promote that as a consumer so that business that